Hello everyone and welcome. It's Shanna. Hope you're all doing well. Now today we're ready for our Crafty Advent Calendar Day 17. And it's taking me a minute to find it on here. I'm like, where is it? And then I realize it's down there in the lower left-hand corner. And I'm just going to bring in my 2-in-1 tool from Spellbinders and we'll get it opened up and we'll see what's in there. And it looks like we've got a nested die set. Ooh, this is going to be fun. I think there's a tag with it too. This is super fun. I've got to say, I do not have a nested set that looks like this. It kind of looks like a ticket stub. And you've got the smallest piece that's got the little circle in it for a tag. And it is super cute. So we're just going to get it opened up. And I'm going to figure out what I'm going to do with this. So we'll get them pulled out. And we've got actually 4 different dies here in this nested set, with the smallest one having the little tag circle. So I just went into my scrap and just grabbed a bunch of paper here. And I'm eating some Chex Mix I had made. And I just thought I'd show you. I always make a humongous batch of Chex Mix for all the kids. My son-in-laws in particularly love it. And I had brought some into my craft room and was just doing a little snacking and thought I need to get this opened up and get a card made and ready for my channel. So I've got 2 different colors of blue, a purple, and a pink, and these are all scrap. And I will actually bring in another color because I decide the pink isn't what I need for the direction that I'm going. So I'm just going to actually individually cut out all of these colors. I didn't lay them all down there. I just kind of did them one at a time. And I did leave this real time. So we're just under 19 minutes for this particular card. And I'm just going to take the second layered die. And I've got scrap here from where I had die cut out some floral elements. And I'm just going to try and position this die on there to use that up. Still continuing on my quest to get rid of scraps with all of this Crafty Advent Calendar dies and stuff that we've got. And I am making great progress, and I love that. So we'll get our second largest layer die cut out. And we'll just lay it aside. And then we're going to bring in our purple layer. And we'll do our 3rd die with it. And then we'll do the 4th die with that. I don't know, I think it's Dahlia is the color that is, but I'm not going to wind up using it. But I will say that because it's a perfectly little die cut piece that I could use for something later when I just need a little bit of something. So I've just got my little scout there. And I'm watching a live from one of our crafty friends and chitty-chatting on there. So I was just reaching over to my keyboard so that I could make a comment on whatever it was they were saying. And I'm just going to get this die cut out. A lot of times when I am crafting in my craft room, I'll have, well, this season, actually, I have had some Christmas videos on. I have a little, it's one of those, I don't want to say it because she'll start talking, one of those home devices that you can tell what to do. Anyway, and it's got a screen. And so a lot of times I will watch Christmas movies on there during the season, play music, or I will watch lives and just chat with people as I'm doing it. I almost always kind of multitask, have a little bit of background noise as I'm crafting. And then I, of course, will do the voiceover and take all that noise out. So I'm just double checking this panel to make sure it is A2 size because this is going to be my base layer. And I brought in this fun wavy pattern. This is actually some cat scrappiness pattern paper. And I'm going to cut it down to 5 by 3 3/4. And so we'll have a good amount of blue peeking out behind it. And then we've got these colored panels that we're just going to kind of lay down in a color block format and just create a little fun card. And I thought, I basically chose the pattern paper based upon the scraps of cardstock that I had die cut these pieces out. And so I'm just kind of positioning it, trying to figure out how I want to lay it down there, what I want to do with it. And you can see that pink dahlia, just, it doesn't go. I don't mind the purple at all. I think it looks good with it, but the pink is just not working for me. I'm looking at my scraps, considering those, and I'm just going to go digging for another color that I can cut this blue out in. So I've just grabbed a lighter blue, and I think it kind of goes with one of the blue colors that's in our wavy pattern paper. And I'm going to put this right in the center of this panel. And the reason why I'm doing that is a lot of times I'll use these cardstocks for my background layer. And so if I've got it right in the center, I can just layer up on top of it, and no one will know that I have die cut that little piece out of there. So I'm just going to use some of my tape just to keep it there, and it'll just go right out of the center. I'm going to go to my big spellbinders to cut it out. When I'm using a full-size panel like that, I can't use my Scout, so I got to go to my Spellbinder 6. So there is definitely a justification for having both the Spellbinder 6 and the Scout. The 6 is for all the big projects, and the Scout I want to use as often as I can when I'm die cutting during a video, because I can get it right in there on the screen and you can see exactly what I'm doing. Now I can bring the big one in, but it's just convenient to just take a little break, go cut it out, and come back, and then move on with the card. So I'm just kind of figuring out what I'm going to do with it. I'm going to lay this pink aside, save it so that I can use it for something else, get my dies out of the way, and then figure out exactly what I'm going to do with this panel, these panels. So first of all, I've got to grab a card base, and I have lost, you guys have heard this on a couple, 2 or 3 videos now, I've lost my Score Buddy, still haven't recovered it. I've looked high and low. I'm almost giving up. I think I'm going to have to order another one. And I'm just going to use this Cricut. It's got a blade to cut with, and it's got a blade to score with. And so I'm going to lay this panel down here. It's just hammer mill 110-pound cardstock, and I'm going to score it at 4 1/4, and we're going to fold it. And then we're going to actually use it as a top folding card base. And so I'm just going to use my fingers, and I'm going to grab my bone folder and just kind of score it up, since I've lost my Score Buddy and the score that comes with it. And we'll use this for our card base. And like I said, we are going to turn it, and we'll get this panel laid down on there. And it's slightly off, so I'm going to run and cut it real quick. And then we can get to assembling our layers. So I'm going to bring in my little Sweet Petunia glue press, which I typically link in the description box below. I periodically get a lot of questions about the glue press, and so it is linked in the description box below if you want to check it out. And we'll just get this panel laid down on here. And I'll get it pressed down. I can't believe how quickly we're closing in on Christmas. We did finish all of our shopping today, and I just have a little project in which I need to get my stockings, get the names ironed onto my stockings, and then we'll get the stockings loaded. And I'm going to make some, I still haven't got my Buckeyes made. I'm going to get that done, and then I will have done everything on my to-do list, and we'll be able to get ready and enjoy Christmas. I will be making, I always make lasagna for Christmas Eve, so I will be making 2 big pans of lasagna. We'll eat one for Christmas Eve, and we'll save one for another time. So I will be doing that, but otherwise I am in really good shape for the holiday season. Need to do a little bit of sprucing up. We've got some guests coming, and got to get my guest room ready. I did go and purchase some new bathroom towels, and just to freshen up a little bit. It's been a minute since we bought some for the spare bathroom, so I went and did that, and I'm just going to do a little bit of sprucing up and get ready for my overnight, for my guest. But otherwise, I feel like I'm in really good shape for the holidays. I'm just toying with these pieces of these die cut pieces here with our layered nesting die set, and trying to figure out how I want them. And this is pretty much how I like it positioned. And so I'm going to try and keep it like that. However, I'm going to pull some pieces off and do some stamping. But I do want to kind of remember how I laid them. So I'm just going to use this little purple or lilac cardstock, And I'm going to bring in the Hello Friend stamp set and just use the floral pattern. And obviously it's much larger than my little panel, but I'm just going to position it to where I get my little flowers laid on there, and I think it'll make a nice focal interest. And I'm going to bring in my my VersaFine Clair Nocturne because it is so crisp. And we'll just get it pressed down, making sure I got it lined up right. We'll get it inked up and pressed down. And then this will just create a little floral element for our card. And it looks good. So I'm just going to grab my tweezers and pull it off of here. And then I'm going to get my little light blue smallest tag because it has the little hole punch in it. And I'm going to lay it down in a clean area on my Misty. And then I'm going to grab that sentiment set that we got that had all of the different salutations on it. And I'm going to bring it in and we'll get it stamped down. And then we will have a little message. I'm going to use the thanks and I'm going to lay it on its side. So we'll just lay it on our tag here. Trying to get it lined up. And I'm just going to use that same ink because it's good and crisp. Trying to be careful with it. I got a little bit on the edge of the stamp, so I'm going to clean it off just so I don't make a mess. And then we'll get it stamped down. And it's stamped beautifully. So I'm going to grab my tweezers and pull it off. And we'll get rid of this Misty. Get my stamp cleaned up and put away. And then we can begin finishing up our card. So I'm going to make sure I've got all my panels positioned how I want them. And then we'll just start picking them up one by one and getting them laid down on there. Just trying to remember exactly how I want it. And I'm trying to give a kind of a border along the top of the dark blue and then below the bottom of the purple that will kind of match. And we'll just get them laid down on there. This kind of puts me in the mind of a color block pattern, just with a little ticket edge or whatever. And then I did bring in that ribbon. It was the only color that I had that I thought would kind of go with it. And I think it works out all right. So we'll get our largest panel laid down on there and get it positioned, trying to get it lined up right. And then I'm going to bring in that lighter blue and then the purple and get it laid down on there and just make sure I've got it exactly where I want it again. And we'll just start gluing it up and laying it down. And I didn't even bother with adding, extra paper for the layers or anything. And it did lay pretty well. I was not worried about that. And I think it does a nice job of showing off that pattern paper that's below it as well as, kind of highlighting the dies, the nested dies that we have. So I'm going to take my little thank you, or my little floral pattern, sorry about that, and I'll get it laid down on there. And it's kind of going to be my focal point. And then my little tag, I'm going to run this ribbon through. And this is just some, I don't know, I probably picked it up at Hobby Lobby or the dollar store or somewhere like that, and I had it in my stash. And I'm just going to tie a double knot in it, and then we'll trim down the ribbon, and we'll have our little tag, and we'll get it laid down on here. And this will be a great thank you card to have in my stash, just for any need that I have, any purpose that I have. I can just have it handy. And I think it's super cute. And I'm just going to position these. I'm going to trim them down so they're not so long and try and position them so that they're both laying with the kind of silky side up, and just kind of finagle them a little bit, tighten them up. And instead of gluing that down, I'm actually going to bring in some foam tape and pop it up just so we have a little bit of dimension, a little bit of shadow to our card, a little bit of interest. And I think it's fun. I think it's an unusual card, but I think it worked well with the elements that we had and just kind of highlighted the nested die set. So I'll be anxious to see what other crafters that I'm following do with this particular die set. We'll see what Daria does with it. My friend Daria, she just has such an eye for card making, and I always enjoy looking at her cards, so I'll be interested to see what she does with it. So I'm using my bone folder and pressing down on those strips so that when I pull the release paper, I don't pull the foam up. And this is going to pretty much take care of all of our little nested dies that we've got. Get them laid down on there. And then I know that I've got kind of just the perfect little embellishments that I can use on this. So I'm going to go and grab those, and we'll get those laid down on here. And I think they'll look very complementary to this pattern paper here. So I've got these, they're like teal and mint and, you know, all the colors. Just kind of enamel embellishments that are from Altenew. And I'm going to use the little ones and just get them laid down here on this darker blue panel where there's not really a lot going on. And I'm going to lay 3 in a row, and then I'm going to come down below that and then add 2 more, and we'll have, you know, our uneven number of 5. And I think it'll add just a nice decorative element to our card and just kind of finish it off. And I love how this Crafty Advent calendar is getting encouraging me to do kind of some different things and trying to use previous days and just really implement everything together. So I hope you like it. I appreciate you watching and following, and look forward to seeing you again. Thanks and have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.